I drove this Honda CR-V last winter and figured that for a shopper after good fuel mileage and confident winter driving dynamics through a well set up suspension, braking system, and stability control system, it hit the mark. What stood out is that you really sense the road in this machine. It doesn't have an artificially heavy feel for a false sense of SUV security in the snow, and if you're going to slip, slide, or skid, you'll feel it right away, so you know to correct things. I like that, and you probably will too if you ever drive in really bad weather. It's also a great ride for a shopper after plenty of space. We'll check it out in the new CR-V, seen here, which has just been updated, enhanced, and overhauled in key areas to turn in more value and appeal. Other than some cosmetics, the body is the same, meaning that so is the very low-mounted cargo area floor, which sits at knee height, several inches lower than usual in this type of machine, which makes loading and unloading of gear or pets easy. And up here, the rear seat floor has no hump, which is nice for anyone sitting in the back who have feet. Clever design maximizing interior space has been a well-known Honda trait for years. Here's another slick touch. Check out how easy these rear seats are to fold flat. They even move the headrest out of the way for you. And look at all that room. Room for your at-hand items too, thanks to the cubbies and consoles and no fewer than 3 little bins on each door. Clever and spacious aside, Honda has other well-known traits which lay the foundation for a gleaming reputation that's helped sell a lot of CR-Vs over the past 2 decades. All that warm fuzzy stuff, safety, fuel economy, resale value, and reliability are highly rated here. It's the Lisa Simpson of compact crossovers, sensible, reasonable, and award-winning. You've noticed by now that this new CR-V is sharper looking. Inside, the dashboard has nicer materials, it's less plasticky, and it feels a touch more upscale. There's a new central touchscreen infotainment system, not my very favorite by a long shot, but better than last year's, and outside it's a bit more, well, alert and sort of street smart looking without taking away that instantly recognizable CR-V appearance. There are even these LED running lamp accents to give it a more distinctive presence as it comes down the road. Nice, but much of the new stuff this year is going on under the skin. Here's the new engine. It's a 2.4 liter just like last year, but it now falls under the Honda Earth Dreams powertrain family, using various tweaks to generate more power and better mileage. You get the same 185 horses, though torque jumps from 163 to 181 pound-feet for a considerable improvement in on-demand response. There's also newly added direct injection technology.
So direct injection, something you're starting to see a lot more of lately because of the promise of better fuel economy and performance. But what is it? Well, in simple terms, the way a normal engine works is that you've got the cylinder here that's kind of the center of the action. You've got a fuel injector that's upstream. That sprays gasoline forms of vapor with air, and that's just drawn into this cylinder by the action of the engine's breathing. Now, with a direct injection engine, that fuel injector is moved inside of the cylinder, right into the middle of the action, and it runs at a much higher pressure than the fuel injection in the old system. So you get all kinds of benefits by injecting the fuel under a higher pressure right into the cylinder, better air and fuel mixing, you get less fuel evaporating in the intake tract, more precise fuel metering. But here's the kicker. Now, I'm not a science teacher, but you know when you use a can of compressed air to clean your keyboard and it gets cold? Well, that's because a pressurized liquid expanding quickly absorbs heat. And in a direct injection engine, the fuel being sprayed in quickly expands, absorbs heat, and it's like cooling the cylinder off every single time fuel is injected. That means the engineers can safely run a higher compression ratio, which simultaneously gives them better fuel economy and more performance.
More power and better mileage also comes from a legendary Honda feature that's been optimizing power and mileage for years, VTEC. Simple premise, hammer down and wait for the engine to get spinning fast and listen for the hot cam to kick in as the VTEC engages a high-performance breathing setup to help it hustle along, or drive gently, then it works the valves to optimize efficiency instead. By actively controlling the engine's breathing in real time, VTEC ensures good mileage, pleasing power, and minimal compromise. There's a new transmission to help on that front too. It's a continually variable transmission, or CVT. This has no preset gears and delivers power on a smooth and seamless wave that only sees the engine revving up as much as it needs to for a given situation, rather than revving up and down through sequential gears, which uses more fuel. Notably, this transmission lets drivers accelerate while the engine revs stay virtually planted, which is easier on gas, and it performs better and with more refinement since there's no waiting for shifting. Press the Econ button and a little sprout lights up on the dash to tell you that the CR-V has numbed down the throttle and reworked the CVT's programming to help you achieve the best possible mileage. There's all-wheel drive, of course, working with the tester's winter tires for very decent traction, even if I did wish the system was a little bit less shy about sending power to the rear wheels at times. So all said, this new powertrain works more effortlessly, sounds and feels more refined, and performs better than last year's, all while turning in better mileage. On my watch, some 1,300 kilometers of driving saw a tested 9.4 liters per 100 clicks where and how I drive. That's almost 13% better than the 10.6 liters per 100 clicks I did in last year's model, which was also pretty good. So the technology works. Other improvements have been made to the ride via suspension tweaks and new wheels and tires to make things a little more pleasant and upscale and quiet on rougher roads. That seems to have worked. You get wider wheels for more plantedness that adds a touch more confidence without taking away from the CR-V's light and communicative feel. So all added up, a few improvements here, mostly to the powertrain for better performance and mileage, and more importantly, all of the key CR-V stuff that have made it popular over the years are left unchanged. So let's sum up this sensible small SUV sales superstar. You'll like the new look, the incredibly roomy, flexible, and clever cabin, the upscale design touches, and the punchier new engine, and its reduced fuel bill. Improved ride quality is always nice too. Sporty drivers might be disappointed that there's no up-level engine available. The touchscreen entertainment system is better, but still far from the segment's best, and this plastic steering wheel is, well, plastic, which means it's slippery and doesn't feel nice in your hands. End of the day, though, this latest CR-V is the best-looking and most powerful version of the popular model yet. Be sure to test drive it against a few of the market's other great new compact Butte offerings, including the new Jeep Cherokee, Mazda CX-5, and Nissan Rogue.